Motown,
It's
baby.
Friday.
Do you want to sing it?
No, because I'm so tired. I'm a legit zombie today.
You're the most beautiful zombie I ever did see. Honestly, The Walking Dead, they wouldn't even
I am the lady from the Titanic of it's been 84 years, but really it's been 5 days of no sleep.
What time did you wake up today?
What time did I wake up? 7:01, because 7 o'clock is when the cat feeder goes off, and 7:01 is how long it takes Charlie to wake up and walk into our room. And it just
Get that little spot.
It's just bad.
I feel you.
So I've been super stressed. I've been watching Good Trouble, which have you ever watched The Fosters on on Freeform? Okay.
Yes.
So it's
they discontinued it.
Callie and Mariana go to LA and have their jobs there, and it's them
like a spinoff?
Yes. But
what?
No, it's so chaotic, and I get so stressed out because nothing goes right for them. I'm only like 3 episodes in, and every single episode they're just like constantly panicking and running around like they're crazy. And I go to bed, and then I have crazy stressful dreams where I can't remember combinations to get into my locker in high school, and then all of a sudden I'm expelled because I can't grab my books. And those are the dreams I'm having.
So good in school. You're having the dreams that you never had before, and they're coming to haunt you.
If I'm stressed out, I consistently have dreams where I can't remember combinations or like a set of numbers or phone numbers, anything like that. Like I'm in college and I need I have a keypad to get into my dorm room, and I can't get into my dorm room, so I'm homeless. That's just like a consistent stressful dream for me. I had that for 4 days in a row. On the 4th day, because I'm watching this show before bed, on the 4th day, Charlie wakes up a few times in the middle of the night to tell me he has nightmares. Or to one time he woke up and he's like, I had a really good dream and I needed to tell you before I forgot. And I was like, that's great, but dude, it's like 3 a.m. I don't want to deal with this.
Future author.
And then last night, right as I was going to bed, Charlie woke up with a stomach ache, and it was another hour and a half before we got him calmed down to go back to bed. And then he woke up like 4 times throughout the evening. And, 4 to 5 hours of sleep per night. And for someone that is constantly tired, it is not helpful.
Oh, friend, have you ever watched the Great British Baking Show?
Everybody says that I need to watch that, but for some reason I can't get into it.
Oh, we just started like the most recent season, Eric and I, and we've never watched any other ones, but something about like the comedic relief with the hosts, there's like no drama. Everyone's so cool, and it's funny, like a good dry funny, like good British humor.
Right.
And it's just so good. I've been falling asleep to that every night. There's a contrast there.
I think I need to not. I don't know. I started watching A Discovery of Witches last night, but only 1 episode is on Amazon Prime, and I don't want to pay for another subscription to watch another show.
Amazon.
Yeah. But somebody said I could do the week trial, cancel it before the week is over with, and then I should be able to. Then they like offer a free month, and then maybe I can finish the 2 seasons in a month.
And then you cancel it before then.
Cheat the system a little bit.
Allegedly.
Yes. For those of you asking, yes, we did start early.
We did.
Sam has some stuff that she needs to do, but that also means that it's like ungodly early for you and our guest. But before we bring her on, Sam, how was your week this week?
My week was good. It was busy and great and fantabulous, and I have been basically off of social media, and my brain is healthy. Yes. Love it for me.
Did you see that Chrissy Teigen just got rid of her Twitter yesterday?
No, I didn't, because I haven't really been
on it. She deleted her Twitter completely because she's just like, it's just too much stress. And so she is on Instagram only. And, that's me too. Like, I have Instagram and I have Twitter, and I occasionally check Facebook for like family stuff and stuff for our neighborhood.
I've just been doing like stories because those are easy. Like, this is what's going on. And then I'll have to think about some kind of reply or tweet, and then worry about like comments and stuff, because that's just people viewing. And at that point, I'm like, that's cool. That's it. That's all you get from me. So I'm assuming that your week's been chaos and stuff. Doesn't Charlie start back at school? Or is that next week?
He starts school soon. Nervous. But
Leif too.
I'm also tracking down some potential vaccines today. So
Yay.
there's a lot of places that I tried last weekend to go. Did we talk about this? No, it was over the weekend.
No.
I tried last weekend to go because we were told that they had like 1,500 extras compared to their appointments that they had. And my brother-in-law went, and he wasn't an essential worker, but he still got it. And then my sister-in-law and I went maybe 20 minutes after him, and they refused us. And they're like, he shouldn't have gotten it, whatever. And I found out they still threw away 500 at the end of the day. And I was like,
why? There's like literally supposed to be a no waste waiting list so that they're not throwing them away. That's so wasteful. Why would they turn you away?
It's so upsetting. So upsetting. So I'm still trying to,
That's so dumb.
Get a vaccine.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
You got this.
One day. But that kind of ties into what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
It's been a year, literally, but it's also been a year of being in quarantine, and we thought it'd be interesting to go through and kind of touch base on all the big things that happened during our time in lockdown. Yeah. But then also, things that happened in the world, how it affected us. Is quarantine ever been like a positive thing for us and stuff like that? And then we also know that you guys like guests a lot. And so we brought on a guest. And again, we are just bringing on people that we love and want to just talk with. And we decided to bring on a guest. Are we ready to meet her?
Are we ready, guys?
Ready? Are you ready? We have Cray, aka Cheney, or Cheney, aka Cray.
It feels so weird being above your fireplace. I feel like I'm like art. I'm like,
you are.
We have to turn around. Hey,
I know.
Hello. What are you doing up there?
Oh man. For those of you guys that don't know who Cray is, she is an amazing DJ and music artist. She also streams on Twitch as well, and a big gamer, and just a general all-around wonderful person. So when we were trying to pick a guest for this week, she was one of the first people that came to mind. Do you want to tell us anything else about you?
You kind of nailed it. I do music, I do gaming, and I'm nice.
And she has cute kitty cats and a cute puppy dog.
Yes. I have lots of pets.
I keep seeing them run across.
Lots of plants.
So this is what happens in the morning. So my naked baby cat had a thing where his urinary tract was blocked, whatever. So they gave me this special food. It's like wet tuna food. Yeah. And he's now addicted to the food. So now every morning he runs back and forth until he gets fed his food.
He tricked you guys recently, didn't he? To get fed twice.
Yes. He literally, I don't know how he's so smart, but he literally was like, if he sits on the table and he goes meow, 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 usually 3 meows mean he needs his breakfast. So then he did that when I was gone at an appointment. I came back and he was doing it. So I was like, oh my God, he even forgot to feed him. Poor guy, starving. I feed him another breakfast. I'm kidding. He couldn't move all day. He was like all day.
You gotta roll him.
Yeah. He's like, I fed him. I fed him. And then he sat there. He was like,
yeah, you did. Everybody fed me. Well, our favorite in our house is Beef. Your puppy dog that you got this year during quarantine, right?
Honestly, I was gonna say it's we're gonna talk about later. COVID there's tons of negatives, but I think there's tons of positive as well. And Beef has been such a bright light. We would have never been able to get a dog. I'm constantly touring, and Hayden's constantly touring. We can barely handle the cat. So when COVID hit, we've always wanted a dog, and it happened. And he's been the biggest blessing in our house.
Charlie's obsessed with him because he has his own Facebook page, which means that we check it quite often.
He has his own Instagram. He's popping.
Or not Facebook, Instagram. And we check it quite often and look at pictures of him and his little tongue that sticks out and stuff like that. Yeah.
Always. He's such a character, honestly. We call him quarantine dog sometimes. I feel like he's never been away from us. It's been 24/7 with us, So we're always what happens when we have to go somewhere for a couple hours? Is he gonna lose his shit?
Right.
Is he gonna love it? Is he gonna be house to myself? We don't know how he's gonna act yet.
He's gonna party. I'm finally humans are gone.
Yeah, he's gonna party too.
Have you seen the TikTok videos or whatever if it's a baby and they're like, I have friends I totally have friends, but they haven't left the house since they were born.
Like my mom and my dad. And like the cats, like I love my cats, but they don't love him. They think he's in like my older cat's 10, he's like, don't come near me. And my other cat's like, you can hang around near me, but like I don't want to like play with you. So I feel like he like thinks they're friends, but like not friends, you know? They're like acquaintances, if you will. Like, you know, they can hang in the same room, but they're not like doing handshakes.
They're obligatory friends, right?
Yes. His only friends are me and Hayden and his toys. Also, every person ever. Like we took him to get training, and we're like, he's the best dog. Like everything's perfect, but he just loves people too much. So sometimes when we're walking, like if you're not even looking at him, like I could be walking him, and a lady will be standing in the corner like this, and he'll be like, trying to get the lady to like look at him, and the lady's like just looking like that. So I'm like, we need to make him so he's a little more calm, because some people don't like dogs. I know it's shocking, but some people don't like dogs, and he'll like try so hard to get pet by these people, and they're like, we don't want to pet your dog. I'm like, I'm sorry, he just loves your energy, sir. Like, you know, like,
that's a compliment, right?
Like I'm a cat person. I do like dogs, but I don't know if I want to own a dog personally because I can't handle the energy. I just need something that's gonna lay in their like corner and leave me alone.
It's a lot. When I wanted to get a dog so bad years ago, and I went to the shelter, and they're like, hey, these, you know, it was mostly pits in LA at the time, and they're like, you know, are you home a lot? Like, what's your situation like? And I was like, oh, well, I tour a lot. And they're like, well, you shouldn't get a dog. You should get a cat. And I was like, I don't know. Cats are mean. Like, they have, you know, the bad like connotation around them. I was like, I don't know. They're scary to me. Like, I don't want to get a cat. And they're like, this black cat will be killed if you don't take it. And I was like, oh,
the guilt.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like that's heavy on me. And it was a black cat, and he was 5 at the time. So like, and like he's kind of tattered, and so like no one really. And so I was like, oh my God, I felt so bad. So I was like, fine. I was like, what do I do? And they're like, all you gotta do is set up a litter box and you'll be fine. So I bring home this cat. I've never had a cat in my life. And I call my mom, like, it's gonna kill me. It's gonna attack me. Take it out of the box. It literally gets out of the box, goes to the couch and sleeps. And I was like, that's it?
That's all they do?
I think that's it. And then it went poop and pee by itself, ate its food by itself, and then came out and cuddled. And I was like,
yeah, all I gotta do is make sure it's fed, watered, and clean its litter box.
Now I'm a cat person. Now I love cats more than anything in my life, and I'm such a cat person. And now I'm like,
I love petting dogs, but the idea of having to take one out all the time, and I'm like, I don't have time to take one out.
Dude,
like, I would feel like a bad owner.
It's a lot of work. I feel like the puppy was like a lot of work, but now he's just like an angel. But like you can't, like I have to book my days around him. You're right. Like my cats, I can leave for days, and my cats are chilling. Same spot I left. Beef needs to be watched every 3 hours. Or needs to be like pee break, cuddle break, kisses. Like also, my cats never really get sick. Beef has had like his paw needs ointment for this, needs ointment for his ear, his nose hole, his wrinkle. I'm like, it's like a baby.
It is. I think puppies are more like babies than
like
cats for sure.
Attention. They're like, hello. Yeah. Like my cats, like my cats are also very needy cats. They sleep with me in my bed every night. Like they're like kind of like babies, but like still, like if I go like this, they'll leave. Beef is like,
hi, let's be friends.
Yeah.
Well, I put shoes in Beef's Instagrams in there, so that way everybody can look at them because they're super cute. But that obviously
his tongue.
His tongue, right? Isn't it? Can we just spend the whole hour and a half looking at pictures of Beef, please?
Oh, his little tongue.
He's the best little sweetie.
Isn't he so cute? Sam's like, I'll be a dog person now.
I'm like, I need a yard so I can have a dog. That photo sent me. That one.
He's a ladies' man. So if he hears any lady voices, he goes extra excited.
Yeah. So we could spend the whole entire time, talking about cute things.
We have stuff to talk about aside from
right. I wish we did it. But it's been like we said, a year in quarantine and a lot of stuff. I feel like more stuff than normal happened in 2020 and so far in 2021 as well.
A lot to unpack.
So we're gonna, start at the beginning and kind of work our way through. I literally found a list of things that's called, these things all happened in the year from hell.
Love that. I love the title. That's great, Sam.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like, I should probably do a little bit of research for this. And I just typed in what happened in 2020. It was just endless articles of things that happened. And it was, kind of a little depressing, but also really interesting to see how much we went through.
Yes.
Right? So we're going to start at the top. And actually, I'm going to drop the list in chat so if anybody wants to follow along with us.
I also feel like sitting indoors every day has made the news even more. Like, I feel like usually I'd be on tour or something, I wouldn't catch something, but I feel like in quarantine, like every news is something that everyone's checking in on.
Exactly that.
So I'm curious then, before we start through this list, what was the moment that you're like, oh, COVID is a thing?
When E3 was canceled.
Okay.
I feel like I was supposed to tour literally 3 days before quarantine hit. I was supposed to go to my first tour in London in the UK. I was supposed to go all over Europe. And when they were like, my agent called me, he was like, yeah, I think you'll be fine. And then like 4 hours later, it was like, hey, so your entire year's canceled. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, so like, I don't know what's gonna go on. He's like, I don't know if you're gonna have a show in May or June or August. It kept being like, we don't really know, but everything's on pause. And I looked at Hayden and we were both like, what? Like, it's our entire, like, every year for a decade we've toured, right? It's been totally normal and like things happen, canceled, but to have like, hey, we don't know when you're even gonna have a show again. We were all like, now what? And that kind of hit it. We're like, what do we do now?
Yeah. Well, and that's like, especially for you guys, I mean, your job is literally out of your home for the most part.
Right.
Like, yeah, you make music in a studio or in home and everything too, but majority of your job is going to festivals and doing tours and concerts and
that's
stuff
where you
like
get
that.
most of the money.
Yeah.
So true. Like, what do you mean? Like, it kind of, for us, at first we were like, oh, you know, it's just gonna pass. Like everyone did. Like, it's just gonna be 2 weeks quarantine. Everything's gonna be normal. But then like every other call would be like, it's being pushed back. Your next show in May is being pushed back. And then your August is being pushed back. And when I got to August, I was just like, the year's shot. Like at that point, I was like, okay, so no touring for the rest of the year. But it took for a while because everyone was like, no, maybe next week. Maybe the week after. And everyone was still like, and no one really knew. And then Tiger King came out. I feel like Tiger King was like the first thing that I watched and the first like drama news, like scandal that we all watched together in quarantine. I feel like my mom was watching it. Like in my first time in my life, everyone in my life was like involved in the Tiger King.
That is on our list, I believe.
You haven't seen it?
No. Oh, no, it's on our list, I think, of things to talk about.
Oh, I was like,
oh, no, I saw it. I did more than just see it. I was at one of his traveling shows when I was a kid, and there is a picture of me hugging a baby tiger with him in the background. But my parents cannot find the album that it's in, but I know who he is.
Like, I love that.
That's surreal.
Yeah, because so if you go through and look at the map when in the show, and they show the map of all the places where I grew up, I'm not telling you, but where I grew up is on that map. And I saw that and I was like, no way. And it all just came flooding back to me. Everything that my parents stood in line for the longest time. And it was like a makeshift kennel, like one of those big kennels with AstroTurf in the center of the mall. And you paid like $5 to get a Polaroid taken. And I have a Polaroid of me hugging a baby tiger. So
I just like, I'm now you're a celebrity to me. Like I feel like you're a part of Tiger King now.
Right.
Yeah. Can I touch you and never wash my hand?
Yes.
Like, I find the photo. I really need the Polaroid.
Okay. I keep telling my dad to go look for it, and he's like, I have no clue where it is. And he has multiple houses. He has a house in Florida and a house in Missouri. I'm like, Dad, this is relevant. Social media needs to see me, sees a picture of me hugging a tiger in the mall with him in the background. But for me, it was at the Super Bowl. We went to the Super Bowl, and it was after the Streamer Bowl. We were all standing there trying to figure out what we were going to do afterwards, and talking to the people from Epic. And Ben and I were just standing off to the side talking. I think we were getting ready to call Charlie or something like that to say goodnight. And Tim the Tap Man turned around and kind of bumped Ben on the arm, and he said 113. Because that whole weekend we were tracking how many deaths there were so far. Because it was blowing our mind that in only a matter of a week or whatever, 113 people died from this in this one area. It hadn't made it to the United States yet. And that was the moment. It just replays over and over in my head of that. And we even went on another trip after that. We were traveling in into March. I think it was the first weekend of March. We were in New York, and there were cases in New York at the time.
New York was having a really hard time.
Yeah, and so we didn't cancel. We went there, and Nate Hill was there. We did this Fortnite diesel clothing kind of event with Rogue and FaZe, and we didn't really go anywhere. Like, we went to a couple stores, and we ordered food in, and we stayed in our hotel the rest of the time. We went to go see Jordan Fisher and Dear Evan Hansen. But even then, like, we just went to go see it, and then we went back to our hotel. But it was just that moment of Tim turning around, and because we were counting how many deaths throughout the weekend, that it was just like kind of scary at that point.
Like, maybe we need to go home, and like figure this out.
Yeah.
We went to the last convention of the year, and that was whenever they were just saying that some of the cases were hitting Boston and New York. And so that was last weekend of February. And I remember going to PAX East, and like a lot of people pulled out because we weren't sure yet what was going on. But they had like workers around the convention center who basically just had like sanitizing wipes on the escalator rails, just so it was constantly being wiped as people were going through.
Can you imagine, this is your job? You just hold it here while the rail goes past.
And that was kind of a surreal moment of like, oh, I mean, at least they're taking care of things. I mean, none of us were wearing masks. That wasn't a thing yet. We're just like, well, at least, our hands will be clean.
Yeah.
But things were still open, but it was weird seeing a lot of friends cancel their flights and their trips or their businesses not go, because it was just like, oh, what's going on? And then it was like that next week that, what was it? South by Southwest? Was that the next thing that was canceled? I don't know if it was that one or there was a different one, but it was canceled like the week before it was supposed to happen. And so many businesses were upset because they couldn't get like their deposits back, and people couldn't pull back on their travel plans and get money back. And it was a mess. And that's whenever conventions started thinking months ahead. And we're just like, oh, we're going to have to cancel early.
Yeah.
Because we don't know. And that's what happened with like E3 and GCS.
Well, and for those of you guys who don't know, Ben and I are part owners of GCX in Orlando. And so we signed on at the beginning of last year, all excited for our first convention to help make happen. And then it got canceled. And now we're making a virtual convention. And so it was just like, we were so stoked to be part of the GCX family finally. And then all of a sudden they're like, no.
Yeah.
We can't do this. All right.
So many people.
Let's start with our list. Like I said, I'm starting at the beginning of technically in December 2019, which feels like forever and a day ago. Yeah. And we can just talk a little bit about things. We can dive in a little bit deeper if we want to, or just kind of mention them and skim past. It's totally up to just whatever we feel. But it started with the Australian bushfires.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Doesn't that seem so long ago?
Seems so long ago.
I remember checking in with all of my friends in Australia and being like, are you okay? Is it near you? Because like, I don't know where everything is in Australia. So that was the first thing. Going into kind of like pop culture stuff, Prince Harry and Meghan quit the royal family, which was
later.
No, they quit in 2020, and then she came out with her truth in 2021. Yeah. But I wasn't ever a big I don't really follow the Queen vibe. Right. I don't, I think it's interesting, and I want to get more in, I want to be more knowledgeable. But I really kind of thought that was like King and Queen. Like, I didn't think it was like real. I'm not educated on it. So when I looked into it, I was like, good for them. But everyone's like so pissed. They're so controversial. How people are like, yeah, go the hell you want. And then people are like, how could you turn your back on the royal family?
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't even know where I lie because I don't.
It's Game of Thrones basically in real life. But at this point, like the royal family is just a figurehead. Like
they don't do anything.
Yeah, she doesn't really do anything anymore. Mm-hmm. There's very few occasions where the queen has like say and stuff. And so cool. I mean, yeah, she's a person of color. She's an American. Of course they're gonna dog on her a little bit.
I said good for them for like standing up for herself. Like you just said, she is a woman of color, and I feel like they made her uncomfortable for that. And I feel like to leave the royal family is a pretty big move. So I feel like it wasn't taken lightly by Harry. I don't think Heather's like, fuck it, let's just roll out. Yeah. I do feel like they're just going to go their family and they're like,
well, and with Princess Diana, who is his mom, he was the one that was the closest to her between the two of them. I like learning about situations or lifestyles that I do not live. So I love learning about like gypsies and Amish and, just anything that I can. And so I ate up every documentary that I could find about the royal family in 2020 and watched The Crown, which obviously The Crown is, dramatized and stuff like that too. But it's historical as in like the events that they went to. Like they did go to this place and whatever. So yeah, for him to be able to be like, let's leave. This isn't safe for us. The likelihood of him becoming king is so slim.
So super slim
at this point that, with everybody saying that like their son didn't get a title or anything like that, I don't think that he technically would, because Princess Anne's kids don't have titles either.
Right.
Because he's so far down. As far as I know, they don't.
It's just son?
Yeah, it's just William's kids are the ones that have titles. Because the likelihood, so basically the order of it would be William.
They did not receive. I just Googled it. You're right.
William, and then William's kids. And then it would be Harry's kids. And then it would be Anne's kids that would go next.
I think that shit's all, I don't know. So something doesn't seem fair there. I feel like it's a lot of family drama. I mean, I couldn't imagine, right? I'm just saying, like, for Harry, I feel like he's a good judgment. I feel like him and Meghan just want to go live their life. Like, I feel like he's at this point where he's like, I'm not going to be king. My kid's not going to have a title. They're fucking racist against the love of my life. I'm just going to go bounce and do my thing. I think that's really amicable of him to choose that and be like comfortable doing that.
And he just has always been kind of like, growing up, he had his troubled past or whatever, but he just genuinely seems like a good person. He already has a job at a tech company. And
he's cute. He aged well.
He did.
He has.
Yeah.
Megan's a babe. Like,
Of course.
She is spicy.
I enjoy them. I haven't watched the Oprah special yet, but I want to.
It was spicy.
Really?
Yeah.
I can just imagine.
Like, she did that. Like she went up, like even Harry, like the fact that Harry had the balls to go up there and be like, yeah, this shit's not right.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, like I have family drama too, but like for me to go air it on Oprah, like I don't know. That would take a lot of
you're literally sitting against your entire family and what they have been so grounded in for as long as they've existed.
Honestly, I'm all about it. Expose the secrets, expose the bad dudes, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Next on our list is the COVID-19 pandemic.
That's the third on the list.
That's the third big thing that happened. But I don't feel like they brought in the California wildfires. That was right after.
Did that happen a little later?
Yeah, that was later.
Was it later?
Yeah, that's a little later.
Uh-huh. Okay, I didn't see it on.
I don't know if it's on the list.
It's not on the list, but it was. It was soon after the Australian bushfires, wasn't it? In like February or March?
I think.
Sam, did you have to evacuate, or you were close to having to?
No, we evacuated once because our air got really bad, but I don't know what it was. I don't remember. They happen so often here, honestly, at this point. I feel like the Oregon ones, which I don't see it on that list either, was way worse, or the Northern California ones. Yeah, because that's like whenever the sky you were literally living in a plume of smoke, and like your sun was red.
Yeah, like, it made it to Nebraska. The smoke made it to Nebraska, and we were having horrible air quality for.
It made it to England. They were having bad air quality from us. Yeah, you could see it from satellites of how the smoke plume traveled to other countries, like across the ocean. It was rough. I'm surprised that's not on the list. But that's
LA air being awful all day.
Yeah.
So I feel like whenever I look at my weather app, it's like LA. It's like not good for sensitive groups. I'm like, another day in LA.
It is.
I'm like, yay! Like, and
Yeah.
then that was just tragic as well. So like
Yeah.
fires are so tragic. I mean, like I've watched documentaries about scientists being like, fires are devastating, but also it brings in new life and new stuff for forests and animals. So apparently it's not as devastating for the animals. So my first thing was like people, animals, like the planet, the trees, and then they're like actually it promotes more growth and new growth and like. So, it's like, okay, I guess there's a little silver lining, but not really. But like, I'm trying to like focus on the positive in any way I can, especially in 2020.
And it was just so crazy that like right around the same time that lockdown started, the country was literally on fire. It was so almost poetic. That
evacuating like the evacuation zones that we usually have at like schools or churches and stuff like that, they weren't open. Everything was closed. So it was like, where are you
evacuate, but also quarantine, but also evacuate.
Yeah.
Still stay in quarantine.
Chaos.
Just, evacuate 6 feet away from somebody else.
Yeah, evacuate in your quarantine. If you can quarantine, evacuate at the same time.
Yeah, basically.
But we're not going to help you figure it out.
No, we're not gonna help you at all.
You got this, California.
Good luck.
Like, after that was Kobe Bryant's death, which
tragic. So tragic.
Rocked way more than I guess I thought. Really, like, yeah, I know a lot of people liked him and enjoyed him and stuff like that, but it really hit bigger than what I thought it was going to in the end.
It hit hard because his daughter passed away.
Yeah. And maybe that too.
There's children involved, and he's obviously like a star figure, someone to look up to, but also his daughter.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things where I think it wasn't like they got sick, it was like a shocking out of the blue, like freak accident, right? Like a freak, like he drives his helicopter apparently every day.
Yeah.
He's always on it. So like the one day it failed, I think people just were not prepared at all. And I went to the memorial. I live downtown, so we walked to Staples, and it was just like I was just crying, and there was like it was just like the craziest sight I've ever seen. It was just everyone put everything everywhere. It was like mountains of flowers and murals and shoes and everything, toys, everything you could ever imagine. Like we couldn't walk into Staples. It was so packed with stuff, and it was just like really moving, and like people were just like distraught, so distraught.
Ben and I talk about this often, that we are at the point in our life, because we're all roughly the same age, of the actors that we grew up with them being adults are now older.
I know.
And so can you think of like when Morgan Freeman passes away?
No.
What are you talking about? He's gonna live forever. He's literally Jesus.
It's just it's stuff like that it's hard to think about that kind of stuff, because we're at that point of the people that we grew up looking up to are getting to,
even Will Ferrell and stuff, that they're getting old.
Yeah. Will Smith.
Yeah.
No.
Just like,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Michael Jordan, if we're going to talk about basketball.
No.
Orlando Bloom. What?
Yeah. Okay, somebody said Betty White, and no, we're done. We're ending the show.
That one we don't talk about. She's a forever icon, don't you dare.
She's gonna outlive us all.
Do not speak that into
I will fund any scientific research that I need to, so that way she can live forever.
Be in like the little chemical containers, like living forever.
Yeah, or like in Futurama, where it's just the head in the bucket.
Yes,
do it, keep her.
Dude, I hope I hope somehow they make something where we can save all our favorite people.
Right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of celebrity deaths this year that really hit me. One of them was Eddie Van Halen.
Yes.
And that was like the music that I grew up listening to. And it definitely had me bawling. And Ben stopped. He took a break from stream and he came upstairs and gave me a hug. And I was just like, I can't function through any of this. And it's not like I've ever I've never met him or anything like that. I saw him in concert, but I grew up like that's like the background music to my childhood.
I feel like Chadwick was
that's on our list too.
Oh, is he?
Oh yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah, that one.
Impeachment of President Donald Trump was in February. Or in January. We're still in January, guys.
We're still in January. Oh my
We're still in January. But he was acquitted on February 5th. Cray, we've had plenty of conversations about our former president on this show, and that's all we're going to say about that with him. We're glad he gone. After that is Parasite. The movie sweeps the Oscars. I never watched that.
Deserved. So good. It's so. I mean, I'm a horror movie fan. It's not even a horror. It's like a thriller. Oh, sweet. Oh yeah, down here.
Yeah. You and Sam can talk horror all you want because it's so good. And they took home the most awards, including landing Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best International Feature Film. For the first time, a non-English language movie won Best Picture. That's pretty sweet.
So good. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's incredible. Incredible. Watch it in theaters twice. My boyfriend were like, it's so good. So
is it super scary?
No, it's more. It's not like a horror. It's more like just like thrillery. You're like, whoa.
Is it like a psychological thriller or like a jump scare?
No, not really a jump scare.
Okay, good. I can do psychological thrillers. I can't do jump scares. Okay.
You can do it, honestly. Like my mom watched it and she's a baby and she loves it.
Will you watch it with me?
I'll hold your hand. I'll be like,
okay, we'll virtually hold hands through the phone. It's not scary at all? Okay. All right. I will look into it. After that was I think we're into February now. The Harvey Weinstein verdict. Yes, he was convicted of a lot of things.
No, that was just his conviction. He's been canceled. He's been like on this thing for years now, but he just got convicted in 2020.
Gotcha.
Bye. Yeah. We hate you.
We're done. Bye. We're done with all of that. Celebrated by dozens of accusers and their supporters as a watershed moment for the Me Too movement.
Good.
Personally, on the internet and in the Twitch world, it's later on in the year, but we had our own version of Me Too movements coming through the streaming world. We'll get to that, and that was around in June.
That was in June. It's the same time as BLM starting.
Yep. Stock market crash of 2020. That was in March, which is so crazy because Ben and I, when we were in New York, we got invited to the New York Stock Exchange.
That's
very last minute, so we weren't
dressed.
Do? What was that?
Is it cool? Like
it's so cool. We weren't allowed to be on the floor though because we weren't dressed appropriately because we didn't know we were going. So like,
just like computers.
It's everything you see in the movies.
Like wow,
everywhere.
But there was nobody there because of the pandemic. Oh. The pandemic in New York had just started shutting everything down, so people were already starting to work from home. There was maybe 10 people on the floor. But Ben got interviewed by Julia Chatterley for CNN, and her office is upstairs overlooking the stock exchange.
But
apparently you can't wear jeans. Men can't wear jeans. They have to wear suits and a button-up shirt. Women have to wear dresses or slacks. It's just like, it's a thing that it's just a traditional thing that you can't touch the floor unless you're dressed appropriately to.
Saying is, I think people would work harder if they were in sweatpants. All I'm saying. If you could stroll up in cozy clothes, I feel like shit would get done even more.
I know. Me and my tennis shoes and leggings, let's go. So like we scrambled together. I had high heels and black jeans and a leather jacket on, and Ben had dark jeans and his leather jacket on and a button-up shirt. And everybody kept stopping us. They're like, "You can't go in there." I'm like, "We're not actually going in there, okay?" But we were able to stand there and overlook it, and it was a big thing for Ben because we got to see like the area where they do Squawk Box, I think is what it's called on CNN. And it's like a news show talking about the stocks and stuff like that. And Ben and his dad used to watch it all the time.
It's like a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, so Ben being able to stand there, this actually tomorrow is the 3-year anniversary of Ben's dad's death. And so for him to be able to stand there and kind of just take in that moment right around the same time. So it would have been, the 2-year anniversary of it. It was just a big thing for him. But yeah, stock market crashed. Ultimately, because everybody stopped doing stuff.
What? It kind of has to happen when you stay inside.
Yeah.
A panorama.
After that is the Black Lives Matter BLM protests. The big bulk of it spread over a lot of time.
was needed. I feel like it was needed.
Yeah, it was so needed, but it was so difficult because like we couldn't go out there. I couldn't go out there because, it was at the very beginning of this bulk of this scary pandemic and being immunocompromised. Ben wanted to go down and protest, but he was afraid that he would come back and get me sick. And
me and Hayden did it for you. We did it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and we had our own situation in Omaha where a young man was shot by a white, pretty well-known racist store owner, and he was saying that it was self-defense, and James Scurlock is his name, or was his name, the guy that got shot, and it was 100% self-defense. The store owner, I'm not even going to say his name because he's not deserved to even be spoken about, but he posted on Facebook that he was going downtown to protect his store, and he will do whatever he needs to make sure that nobody touches his store because all of the protests were down there. So thankfully we have a couple just volunteer run Facebook pages that live tweet and live post events for stuff like this in Omaha. And so I was sitting there and watching everything on my phone, and watching all these events happen, and not being able to help was so frustrating for me. I felt like I wasn't doing anything, but I was trying to do as much as I could. And I think that also really split everybody too, because some people felt like they couldn't do anything. And so then they were getting shamed for not doing, like, actively going out there.
Yeah, I had COVID during that. You remember I was texting you because I was going into heart failure, and it was great. But I got my first dose of vaccine. I'm excited.
Yay!
So I'm very heavily also immunocompromised, so I could not go out for sure. And the BLM protests, the height of them started right after I got out of the hospital, and there were randoms in my DMs calling me out for not doing more, and I'm just like, buddy, if I go outside, I'm dead. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
But there was only so much that some of us can do.
Social platform, I think the most important thing for someone with a social platform, rather than going out there, is you sharing and you educating.
Yeah. That's the best that I could do, but that's still not enough for some people, and that's frustrating.
And people need to check themselves at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has good intentions, and there was a lot of influencers who were really quiet. I think that was wrong for sure.
Right.
You're being quiet, and you have a social media following. It's very loud. Your silence speaks loud. But I would never check someone for not going out. I don't know who you live with. I don't know your health. I don't know. I would never expect anyone to go out on the front lines. I would expect you to share and educate people and just show your support is more important to me.
Yeah, Ben's video that he kind of just went on a rampage at the end of stream one time, and somebody clipped it. Usually Risa is sometimes hanging out in chat today. But she clipped it and posted it, and it kind of went viral in the streaming world and got picked up by a couple of news sources and stuff like that. But then later on, he was accused of not doing anything. And Ben's like, yeah, maybe I'm not retweeting it, but I'm talking about it constantly on stream, and you are not here for every moment of my life. But I'm here. I'm helping. We're donating when we can, but we're not saying, hey guys, we just donated $1,000 or whatever to this charity and stuff like that. We're just doing what we can in our own space. But I feel like, there are obviously a lot of good came from BLM. Obviously we're still fighting the fight though.
Oh yeah. I think it just brought awareness. I think it brought awareness and a needed awareness to a situation that people were not aware of. And I think we're still fighting the fight. But I think the fact that we even my parents who had no idea BLM, had no idea that this was even something, are now an ally. So I think that's really beneficial to have people actually be like, you know what, I never knew I never even knew my white privilege, and now I do. I think that is also really meaningful. And I think we're still fighting, but I think it was So people are like, I wish that never happened. Like, I think it was very necessary. I think it was very necessary for the world to see the struggle and the pain that people of color go through. And I think it was necessary to do all that.
Yeah, I think that was when the big start of like the separation of the country started. You had your Proud Boys,
everyone else.
You had literally everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just like,
and then, you know, we can talk about the Asian hate that's happening right now because of Trump, and you know, Trump's had such racist rhetoric that I think a lot of people enabled a lot of people's behavior.
And
it started by calling it the Chinese virus is what he said.
Virus, all that fucking bullshit, and like there's so much Asian hate right now, you know. So it's just like look what caused, you know, look what just even a president tweeting those racist things caused so many people to be like, that's okay for me to say, that's okay for me to do, it's their fault. I'm like, I'm just like, I want to punch him in the mouth.
Get in line.
Moving on to somebody else that, you know, everybody loves, you know, quote, loves. Kim Jong-Un death rumors.
Yeah, whatever. I haven't heard anything from that. Is he still alive and kicking? Or did he die? Do we know?
He is.
He's alive? I don't think we'll ever know the scenario. I don't think we'll ever know the truth. Apparently he's a vegetable.
I think, you know, good riddance. But his sister, right? She's not any better, so.
Of course not.
No. Definitely.
After that, Biden becomes the Democratic presidential nominee.
Yay!
He wasn't my choice, but you know what?
But he'll do.
Yes, he will do. And I say this over and over again, and we've talked about this on the show before with Haley Nick. That I just want him to get us to neutral. That's
You know how nice it is to wake up in the morning and get my coffee and not be flooded with dramaticist news articles about Trump saying something fucked up. Like, it's so nice to not give a fuck a little bit, a little less of a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I say this to my Twitch my family too. It's like, even if you're not Democratic or Republican, whatever you are, at least we have a person in office who has good soul, right? Like, respectful to women, like kind, empathetic to all genders, to disabilities. Like, at least we have someone who at least has some empathy to give some kind of softness. Yes, have some softness right now. I feel like that's so important because I feel like Trump was just so hard and the rhetoric was so hard and I felt so disrespected all the time. At least now I can have my coffee and look at something else and not have to worry.
I love that feeling.
And with Trump and how we said that the BLM movement was kind of necessary. I feel like Trump was a little necessary. Because for people, even Sam, you said you weren't into politics until Trump became president. And then same with you?
Same with me. I'm Canadian. I always go off that. But like, I didn't vote in 2016 because I didn't think it mattered because I'm Canadian. I was like, who cares? Like, Trump's a joke. Hillary, I don't like Hillary, you know? And then I watched it crumble and I started as a woman being like, wait, my rights? Wait, why I'm being expected? I was kind of like, wait, whoa. And the more I learned, Tucker was like, you know, the more you read, the more pissed you're going to be. And it's true. Like, the more I started watching and figuring out and seeing the news and seeing the Senate and seeing all that stuff, the more pissed I was. Like, the more I was like, what the fuck is going on? How did we let this happen? And, you know, I feel so much guilt on it too.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw Trump pooping on BLM stuff and everyone going with all lives matter, that's when I decided to hunker down and figure out what the heck is going on?
Right.
What I can do to help fix it.
So sometimes,
women and like,
it's so good to see good things come out of bad things, though.
Like, people care. It made people care. It made a lot of people care. Also, the voting history for this vote, like more people have ever voted in their entire lives. It broke every voting record, every young person record. So like, at least now Trump made people care and want to get involved because he's so awful. Like, do you know what I mean? At least it sparked. Even for me, like, I was the first one to admit, like, I was so naive and so uneducated in politics. And now I'm, like, involved and ready and in it, you know? So I'm thankful for this moment to be able to, like, be like, I know what I want and know what I want to vote for now.
Yeah.
After that was the great Twitter hack.
I don't
remember that?
Twitter hack.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
group allegedly spearheaded by a Florida teen took over the Twitter accounts of prominent businesses and political figures, including Joe Biden, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Kanye West, in a Bitcoin scam. And they got lots of money initially.
I don't know where I was for that. When did this happen?
It was in July. Middle of July.
I guess
And it lasted for quite a few hours. Or was it like a day? It was a long time for it was a long time for a whole platform to be taken over.
Dang.
Look at his picture. Tell me he's not fucking stoked. He's smirking, bro. He's like,
he's proud of himself.
He's like, I did that.
After that is the Ghislaine Maxwell arrest. She is a part of the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. I watched all the documentaries about that too.
I cried. I sobbed for sure.
It was like, it was definitely, a lot. Yeah, it just, that whole situation, that whole scenario, and to have our current president at that time tied to him and going through and seeing like actors and stuff like that are tied to him that you like, that you just don't know, right?
I literally cried watching the documentary. It honestly it was the tip of the iceberg, which I always say, like, he's one of 1,000. Do you know what I mean? And it just makes me so sad that people with power and money can do that to young women. It just makes me like sick almost. It makes me sick.
There's still so many people that are involved in this not brought to court.
It didn't stop. When people were like, oh yeah, he did it, stop. It did not stop. It will never stop.
No.
Because we were talking about the show on Netflix, Tiger King came out on Ben's birthday, March 20th. So we're past that in our list, but did you guys both watched the show? Yeah. It was insane and crazy. Yeah. Was it super necessary of a show to watch? No.
Yes.
We had so much time.
Well, I know. Do you feel like it was kind of like a soft initiation into what the year was going to be, as far as watching all the documentaries? I watch all the crime documentaries.
It held our hand through 2020. It started. It did. Well, come over here.
Did she kill her husband and feed him to tigers?
Yes.
I fully believe that she did. 100%.
I was talking to some people who are in Florida, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this story's been. We've known this forever. Like her dad or something, or uncle was a sheriff at the time." And she's like, everyone knows that she killed her husband. She's like, it's very common knowledge. So like, it's very known in Florida that she did it.
She totally did it.
Yeah, 100%.
She did it.
Totally did it.
Let's see. So middle of the summer, fires were down. We're trudging through with the whole Trump stuff and everything, and BLM is still big and heavy. But then murder hornets showed up, and they're still here.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I live in the city, so I haven't.
They're up in the Pacific Northwest. I think the last I heard somebody say they're up in Oregon and Washington. No, thank you.
I don't like that.
It's a 2-inch long bug.
I just don't like how big the stinger would be.
Yeah, it's called a murder hornet. I don't want it near me.
That's
right. It would be that long.
I would
like as big as one of my glasses lenses.
I would freak my. If it was just a bug, I wouldn't care, but it has a stinger.
Right? Ugh, no.
It can also sting me multiple times. Let's think about
that. And it came from Asia. So, of course, everybody else is like, oh my gosh, China's just doing everything they can to hurt us and all this kind of stuff. And you're just like, stop.
It's about no.
This is not another opportunity for you to voice your racism.
Right?
Yeah, it has no other motive than just to come and sting, okay?
It's just trying to come kill you.
It's just trying to kill you. Anyone of any color, any kind, anyone.
Yeah. Anything that's just trying to kill me, I just don't know. Don't want to be around.
I don't want to hear me. I don't care.
After that was the Beirut explosion. Watching the videos of that.
Did you see the wedding?
Yes. Oh my gosh. They're taking the picture and they hear the sound and they turn and then all of a sudden it's just you see the wave.
Yeah.
Was so crazy.
That was honestly a really cool video, but very sad at the same time.
Right.
Just like that was captured. That's so cool. But also
if you take out the fact that it actually happened and you look at it on a scientific approach, it's freaking amazing to watch the video. To see that shockwave go is so cool. But then to know that, it killed 190 people and injured thousands. It leveled buildings like they were dust already. It's so crazy. Also, yes, Cray, save the bees. We have a pollinator garden on the side of our house.
Yes, save them bees.
We love bees. After that, Kamala Harris chosen as the Democratic vice president candidate.
We love women. We love women. Equal opportunity for women.
So now we're into August. Selected the California senator as running mate, making her the first Black woman and the first Asian woman on a major party's presidential ticket. That's so crazy. Like, she's breaking records just by being her.
I know.
Yeah.
3 times, like being the first woman, first Black woman, and the first Asian woman. Like,
that's so cool.
How cool is that? And in general, I agree with majority of her policies.
She's honestly a baddie. Let's be honest. She's a baddie.
Yeah. And she's got a gentleman.
She's got straight up mom vibes.
She does have mom vibes for sure.
Like, the country's gonna do something, and she's just gonna sit there with those pursed. Yeah, she's like gonna sit there with those pursed lips and just stare at you through the TV camera, and you know that you're in trouble.
I'm talking. I was like,
yes. Oh my gosh. Ben and I were cheering when she was talking like that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
It sucks because when you're a woman in a state of power, you saying something like that seems bitchy, but when a man does it, it's powerful. So I hate the double standard. But I was like, go off. Like, I would do the same thing if I was talking. If it was my turn to talk and some man was over talking me, I would do the same thing. I wouldn't be bitchy, just be like, "I'm talking, sir. This is my time."
Yeah. And the fact that she was just like, "Stop."
I'm talking.
That's like, such a mom thing. Such a mom thing to do. And the fact that, like, just personally, I love that she comes from a blended family.
Me too.
She has stepkids, and she's only fairly recently married to her husband. It was like in the past 5 years or so that they've been married.
And he's so proud, Mr.
And he is.
President.
And he's obviously, and he's making history as well by helping pick the name of second gentleman and stuff like that. And like,
I also love how like Biden also like praises his wife and like is so proud of her and like her accomplishments and like
Dr. Jill is awesome.
I think that's really refreshing to see. Like, Yeah,
Trump and Melania can never.
I don't like Trump for a lot of reasons, but also the disrespect there. You can see that they don't love each other. They slept in separate bedrooms. They didn't like. You can tell that Jill and they love each other. You can tell that they're very in love and that they're like a partnership. And that like to me gives me inspiration. I'm like, wow, like I want to be old like that and like have a partner like that. You know what I mean? Have my partner's back.
On Valentine's Day, when they put all the hearts out on the lawn and they went out with their coffee, apparently they go out on a walk with their coffee and the dogs every single morning.
What?
Isn't that so cute? And he was like the old man that's your next door neighbor that you just start talking to by accident and then he won't stop talking. That's who he is. And I love that so much. And I mean, if he can keep that personal mentality alongside his professional mentality, then yay. Like we're all about this right now.
It's just nice to see the news and be like, oh wow, like Biden and Jill talking about equality and love and Valentine's Day, holding hands with their dogs on the way. I'm like, wow, I can drink my coffee and go nice and then go do something else,
Right. It's not going to just be like an earwig and dig into your brain all day long about stuff.
Yeah.
After this is something sad, Chadwick Boseman's death. That to know that he had cancer
and what he did
and never complained. He did so much for St. Jude. He was a big supporter of St. Jude. So when he passed away, the whole hospital was just heartbroken. We
aged like a fine wine. I thought he was 30.
Right? 43.
It's because black don't crack, girl. It's why.
We had been talking to, because even like the people at St. Jude didn't have a clue or whatever, and he was Black Panther during fighting cancer. That's so crazy. But we were talking about trying to have him be part of Build Against Cancer last year. And it was in the talks and people on his side were interested. And then he passed away. And so it was just like one of those things to see that even though he's hurting so much, that he didn't care about that. It felt like he didn't care about that. He felt like everything else was more important. Making sure that he took care of everybody else and stuff like that.
Strongest person ever to be able to act incredible, not only be an incredible actor, like,
but an action actor too.
Yeah, and doing that while struggling, like, but not even complaining. It's just like, well, it makes me inspired, honestly.
Yeah. So if you look at the MCU, we don't have a lot of people of color in the MCU. He was kind of the, the forefront runner for people of color. But if you guys started, Sam, I know you haven't because you watched the Marvel shows, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier. No. Have you started watching that?
I want to.
You want to? Okay. So Anthony Mackie, right, is Falcon. And he apparently in the show, this is not giving away any spoilers or anything like that, because we watch every single Friday. But apparently they brought up the idea of him taking up that torch of being the representation of a Black man in the superhero world. And apparently the show, and it already kind of started covering this. But he said, yeah, I want to be the person that shows what it's like to be a Black person in America and also be a superhero. So when he is not Falcon, he is going through scenarios and situations that are realistic to a certain extent, right? In modern day America. And I think he's doing an amazing job at balancing the two. And it's only been, 2 episodes? One episode.
What a champion. What a bad.
Has it only been one episode? It's only been one episode. And it's already like that great in one episode that he's taking up that torch. But other than that, we had Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. We have Falcon. We have Rhodey, who is basically, I don't remember his character's name, but he's like the big silver Iron Man. We have Shuri, who is T'Challa's sister. War Machine. There we go. I'm trying to think of who else that would represent the woman that Thor gave the his village or his people to. Oh, the lady from.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah, Sam, you're just like, okay.
I have no idea what's going on.
And then the woman from WandaVision, who is Captain Marvel's friend, Monica Rambeau. Thank you. I have a hard time remembering names. So yeah. So like we're starting to get more and more representation in the MCU, which I love, and we're starting to get more female representation as well. There's rumors of there being a female Thor. It's not a spoiler because it's part of the comic books. But Natalie Portman is slated to be the next Thor, which cool for having a female Thor, but also I don't like Natalie Portman. Okay, I like her in V for Vendetta, and that is it. Her as Padme, gross.
But wait, she doesn't have power. She's a human. How can she be a god?
Well, I don't know the storyline, but the hammer is only goes to those that deserve it. So you have to be pure of heart and stuff like that, and that's why
I deserve it, and I can replace Natalie.
Maybe
it should be Cray.
I think you would be better.
I would kiss him a lot.
Yeah, so there's a huge whole story about female Thor and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But that's why Cap was able to take up the hammer in Endgame too, is because he is literally just the most pure of heart of person. So,
no, I didn't like him until the later movies, and now I like him.
Yeah. I didn't like any Thor movie, but I just recently saw Ragnarok, and that's where it changed for me. And
so good.
It was the only one I hadn't seen. I'd seen all of them, but Ben was traveling a lot when Ragnarok came out, and I was like, oh, maybe we should probably watch that.
It was definitely the humor is just top notch.
Yeah. Also, quick side note, and if we have time, we can discuss this at the end, but we just watched the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Wait, is it good? My boyfriend is begging me to watch it. 4 hours is a long time for me.
Did you watch the original?
I did.
Okay, I did not watch the original, so I only watched this one. It's straight up duty.
Okay, thank you. I know it's going to be bad.
It's so bad. It's so frustrating. It's so bad. I looked through every single movie that Zack Snyder made, and they're all okay movies, except for maybe 300 and maybe Watchmen. But man, does that guy love slow-mo. Oh.
It's just like, first off, Ben Affleck, it's just not for me. First off.
Okay, Ben Affleck. Okay, I told this to Ben. Ben Affleck, when he is Batman, his neck is too thick and his cheeks are like this.
He's like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like you can tell that Ben doesn't even like the role. I feel like you can tell Ben doesn't even like doing it.
Sam, you're just drinking coffee. We'll move on. We'll come back. Anyways, I needed to get that out there because Ben did a promo for it. I felt bad tweeting it, but I'm saying it now. That movie sucked balls.
Okay, good, because I already knew it was going to. I prefaced it like knowing.
It just is so bad. Anyways, West Coast fires. Here we are talking about those.
Oh, yeah. There they are.
Yeah, deadly wildfires erupted from California to Washington State. And it was started in mid-August. So, but wasn't there earlier ones in the year too?
Yes, there were, but they weren't these ones.
Okay.
There's always
which fire is which?
Like, honestly, it's fire season right now. We had an explosion in Ontario, California. I think it was last week because somebody was illegally smuggling fireworks in their basement, and it did a massive explosion. 2 people died, unfortunately, and it like melted the surrounding houses. Yep.
Insane. After that is Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death.
I'm so mad that they did her dirty.
Yeah, they really did her dirty, and that was just like such, again, so sad, but such poetic timing of things that it almost didn't feel real.
Yeah.
It just second ever woman appointed to the high court.
I can't. I'm so pissed that Trump got that Amy Cohen, whatever.
Yeah. And he was referring to her as ACB, and I was like, no, you do not replace
no.
RBG with ACB. No.
So wrong.
After that is Trump test positive for COVID-19. Hilarious.
It was nothing. What are you talking about?
It was nothing. I'm fine.
He was hospitalized for 3 days, and then he was discharged. And the picture that it shows is him, ripping his mask off. That whole brute masculinity that he had with ripping that mask off. Like, I don't need this.
Him thinking masks are for pussies. Like, well, I don't get what he kept being like, I don't need a mask. I'm like, are you above the virus? I don't get it. It's not manly to not wear a mask. I'm like, confused.
Because it's not real, Cray. Obviously,
you're right. It's not
silly.
It's just a reason to track us. They just want to track us. The vaccine is a tracker.
I got mine implanted.
Yeah, follow me around.
Track me all day long. Same thing. Obama wasn't amazing, right? Obama was good. He wasn't amazing. I will gladly have the government track me through my phone if I could have kept Obama for 4 more years.
I also Obama and Joe. Both of them in there eating ice cream. I'd rather have that than the atrocity of Trump.
Did you ever go to the Biden Animal Crossing island?
No, what? There's a Biden Animal Crossing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they made an Animal Crossing. I wonder if it's still available. They made an Animal Crossing island when he was campaigning, and there's an ice cream stand, and he's walking around, and you can buy Joe ice cream T-shirts from the store there, and all this kind of stuff. It was so good. They made an amazing replica of the White House too.
What?
It was such a good island. I will see if I can find it.
Did you get any Hello Kitty stuff? Did it drop today?
Yeah, I did.
What? Where did I go? I'm too nervous. It's pretty sold out.
They're at Target. You have to order them online. I did not know this.
For an hour.
You have to order them online and then do pick up in store. That's what they told me. But when I went there, I didn't know you had to order them online. So she's like, order it on your phone right now, and I will hand it to you once you show me that you paid for it. And I was like, it's not showing up on the app. And so she just reaches in her back pocket, it pulls it out, and she's like, don't tell anybody.
Is that a plug?
She handed it to me, and I was like, what's that Target? The Sanrio, like Hello Kitty
Animal
and stuff like that. Amiibo cards for Animal Crossing.
I don't see it anywhere on the website.
It's all sold out.
If
I
you
tried
okay, so
4
if
different
you
stores
want
for an hour
if you want to borrow one, when I am done, I will mail one of them to you, and you can, or whichever one you want, I will mail one to you if you
know
mail
what
it back
I'll
to
mail
me.
you back in return as a thank you? The beautiful gift you got me last time you mailed me something. Da, 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 da.
I didn't do that.
I was walking through a festival in Omaha, and I saw that and talking to the artist that made it, and I was like, Cheney has to have this. And I randomly sent her a message with a picture of it, and she's like, oh my gosh, buy that for me, please.
I literally like, don't think twice.
Oh yeah, you'll like this.
Yes,
This is my baby. One of my mods made it for me because I love super creepy stuff.
Like I literally have so much creepy shit. Like I also love Furbies, so
I think that
There's an
Sam and Cheney, you guys are going to be BFFs.
Yeah,
Wait, hang on. Oh my gosh, Cray, I have this Etsy shop that I need to show you.
wait, no, it's the Furby one, the long Furbies, because I have.
No. Hang on. No, it's even better. It's
Oh, God,
better. Here, I'm putting it in the chat.
I
my gosh.
need it.
Wow,
I'm
that
so
was a link.
Long link.
What?
Oh my gosh, what the
I want all of them. They're so
my
good.
God.
The
With
tooth?
legs. Just legs.
The tooth.
Dude, I need all of these. I need all of them. Like, this
Give me
has to
that
be-
one. Don't give me that one. It's terrifying.
Oh, you want that one, Sam? Okay.
No, it's terrifying.
These are made. Oh my God, the weird egg, the tooth, the tooth.
Yeah, the
The
tooth.
tooth.
I like that it's like an Iron Man Furby. Sorry, Sam. I feel like I have a new friend that I need to talk to.
Yeah,
about
you do. You
Somebody
do.
get
Dude,
All right,
I
let's
feel
get
like
through this
I
list. We
know
don't
it.
have
Okay,
long
sorry.
before we got bounced today.
Okay, but also send me a Hello Kitty thing, please. When you're done, I will cry. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I haven't opened it up yet. I am debating on deleting my island and starting over with, but Ben keeps
Me
telling me
too.
not to. Ben
What?
keeps
I'm
telling me
like-
not to, and I don't know if it's because he's being cryptic or he's trying to be like nostalgic or something like that. I don't know what's
Cryptic?
going on, but he told me to talk to him before I do.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't know what that is, but I kind of am at the point where I can't flatten my island and start over anymore. I've done it 3 times, and now I just want to like blow the whole thing out of the water and start over. Anyways, Eddie Van Halen's death. I didn't realize this one was gonna be on.
So sad.
Oh, I didn't realize it was either.
So he was battling cancer for decades, and just eventually got to him. Iconic guitarist known for his hits such as "Jump" and "Hot for Teacher."
An icon.
Dang.
Just can't talk about it too long, otherwise I will cry. Joe Biden becomes president-elect. Yay, we did it! It took like 7 days to find out.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
Oh man, let's not. We
the
won't. I
next
don't know if
one.
the whole. Yeah, we're almost done with the list. So there's obviously a lot of things that are missing in here, but the whole like voter fraud stuff. I loved seeing the videos of people in one state that are like, stop the count, and then the other state they're like, keep counting, but they're on the same sides.
Dude, I got my tattoo because I said if Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Arizona go blue, I'll get a tattoo for them. So I did.
What is it of?
It's all of the state's flowers in a thing. It's a cactus, it's a poppy, and something else, and it's all like in a little thing. And I said it like the day it happened. I was like, if they stay blue, I'll get the tattoo. And so many people shut me. They're like, you're not gonna get the tattoo. They're all gonna go red. They're all gonna go red. You stupid bitch! Like yelling at me. And then I got it, and they were like, oh. I was like,
I like how they were saying to stop the count.
but
But
keep
did they not realize that there's mail-in voters? Like they kept saying, where did all these things show up overnight?
Yeah.
The mail?
Trump literally promoted to go in person. He's like, don't mail in.
We went
So
in
of course-
person. We went in
of course
person
it's
day
We
of.
went in person too. Yeah. They
Of course, his people are not going
Right.
to mail in.
Oh,
So it's like, why are
yeah.
you shocked that there's mail-in ballots? Of course, there's going to be when you.
There were
told everyone
so
not to.
many trucks parked along the side of the road with giant flags. And Grant, remember, I live in a red state, but my county was blue.
It's blue,
Nebraska
yeah.
is one of the 2 states, Nebraska and Maryland are the only 2 states that split their electoral colleges votes. So we have 3 districts. We have 3 votes. One of our districts went blue, and then 2 of the districts were red.
My mom voted blue for the first time ever. Now she's Democrat. God bless. Love her. Love it. But she was
like voting blue.
See,
we love growth.
Welcome to the good side. But she was literally so scared to vote because in Arizona, everyone had just guns and we're just literally standing outside the voting. We're like, who are you gonna vote for? And she was like, what? She was like so scared to vote. She'd like drive an hour away to vote somewhere safer because people were being so crazy.
Yeah, there was a woman that had a Trump mask on, and apparently it's not required to wear your mask in a voting center because that
whatever.
It's something with your rights. I don't know. But they told her that she couldn't wear it because she needed to turn around because it was campaigning, right? Campaigning. You can't campaign within like a certain amount of feet of the ballots. Yeah. And so she's like, well, I'm just not going to wear it then. And she ripped it off. And then she unzipped her sweatshirt and it had like a huge Trump shirt. And she was young. She was like my age young.
Well, imagine your personality. Is that your personality? Like, I don't buy a fucking Biden shirt. I just don't need to. You know, like I don't need to like rep the president like that.
I just need to show in my day-to-day life what kind of person I am.
Exactly. You can just look at my social media and figure out real quick like what kind of person I am.
I swear.
I get a mask, fine. I have a Biden mask, but like wearing a mask and then a shirt and then why so many items?
Or her significant other had a hat on, had a MAGA hat. He had to take that off. And
I feel like being a Trump supporter was a personality type.
It is. And here's the thing, though, is that Ben and I talked about this. MAGA is bigger than Trump now. Yeah. Trump has no control over them.
Yeah.
Scary.
It's like anyone with hate rhetoric is like using that as a fuel to like enable their behavior.
Yeah. The truck people, they're still riding around here. Like with their big old flags. I'm just like, can y'all accept that you lost? Like your guys.
My dad has a MAGA flag. And he hung it outside the house. And my stepmom was like, you need to take that down right now.
My dad is a diehard Republican, will be born and raised Republican. You know, like it's just that's just their culture, right? Fine. So we have like these heated arguments all the time. But for the election, he finally called me after the Capitol riots. He called me and goes, you know what? I'm embarrassed. He's like, now I'm glad Biden won. That was the first time he's ever said that to me. And I was like, respect.
I wish I would get that phone call. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Let's hope there's not a next time.
I'm tough. I'm like, I yell at him a lot. I'm like, not like my boyfriend's always like, okay, babe, we're gonna go see your dad today. Let's just not bring up politics, okay, honey? You can do it. And I'm like, I immediately get it. I'm like, so what are we gonna talk about?
Every single time I talk to my dad, I'm like, don't bring up stuff that's gonna make you just sad. And then I'm just like, why does this? And why did that? And why?
Literally,
it's like a bad addiction, right? Like you just. Yeah, I don't know.
I just want you to know. Like, you know, I just want to yell at you.
Another conversation.
Big flags with a you-know-who flag, or like, Voldemort.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. This is my president.
Just to show how ridiculous it is. After Biden became president and we all cheered and had a small sigh of relief, Alex Trebek passed away.
A legend.
Right?
A legend. Then, I thought you were saying like allegedly. I was like, no, he passed.
No, he did.
You never know.
Yeah. But what's kind of frustrating is they're having guests come on right now. Yeah. One of their first guests was the guy that won the most money or most times on Jeopardy. He passed away in 2021, I believe.
What?
Oh, I didn't know that.
These guys are all so smart. I was like, I respect. Like, I don't know half the things y'all know.
For real. They're the ones that you invite for
was it Ken Jennings?
On your team.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, help.
I mean, it wasn't him. It was somebody else that was part of Jeopardy a lot. 5-time Jeopardy champ dies at 24. February 12th, 2021.
The son is
okay. So not the most winning. Braden Smith was a 5-time Jeopardy champion. So not Ken Jennings.
I don't know what's dark.
Imagine being that knowledgeable.
Right.
You could rule the world.
He passed away in February 2021. I don't know if they said why or not.
He's still alive?
Ken Jennings is the guy that won the most but the 5-time winner, he was 24. And he passed.
He's a baby.
He passed away in February.
Why?
But then they're having like these other guests, and they have like Dr. Oz on there right now, and he's just not like my favorite person in the world. So
no, I'm good on him. He sucks.
It's just the same thing that with Price is Right, replacing that, and like Wheel of Fortune, replacing that, like just.
I feel like the only thing that ever got replaced that was actually really good was Price is Right. I actually really liked I can't remember the name of the former host. What the heck was his name?
I really neuter your pets.
Yeah, that guy. Well, I mean, that's what that guy, I forgot his name now too, the newest one. What the heck is Bob Barker?
Gosh.
That was the older one. What's the newer
Bob Barker.
Name?
There we go.
Bob Barker.
Yeah, and then Drew Carey took over.
Yeah, Drew Carey. And I actually liked Drew Carey as it.
Drew Carey did a good job.
Yeah. And then didn't he also do Whose Line?
Yes, he did Whose Line Is It Anyway too.
Yeah.
And then after that on here, the last thing that they put was COVID vaccine rollout started in December 14th.
Let's go.
And then super quick, because again, we don't have a ton of time, but we have 19 things that somehow have already happened in the first week of 2021.
Oh, great.
I don't know.
We're gonna skim through this super quick, okay?
Yep,
Trump supporting domestic terrorists attempted to stage a coup at the U.S. Capitol.
That was fucking crazy. Let's just crazy.
That was like our third show, fourth show.
Haley.
It was in the first month, and we had a show planned. And Thursday night, we scratched the whole thing and started over. We had Haley Nick on, and we talked about it and just our feelings. But the thing is, all of these things on this list almost all involve Trump. So
that was honestly the craziest shit I watched ever. Like I thought I was watching it in slow-mo. I was like, is this really, really happening?
Right.
Is this really going down? Is this really going down?
Facebook and Instagram banned Donald Trump for at least 2 weeks. Twitter suspended him and also threatened to permanently ban him, which they eventually did. John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock won their Georgia Senate races, meaning the Democrats will now narrowly control the Senate.
Yeah.
Biden's win was certified by Congress, meaning that he won the election again.
Because he never
win twice.
Elon Musk passed Jeff Bezos to become the richest man in the world.
But then Jeff Bezos passed him recently.
Yeah.
So wow, that must be hard for those guys.
Yeah, it was so hard. Ugh. Must be hard to be rich.
Kim and Kanye. With that, I'm surprised that Kanye wasn't included in the 2020 events.
Right, that was a bit of a shit show.
Yeah, they supposedly, I think since then they have officially divorced. Remember, this is an article from like January 12th because I couldn't find anything more updated than that.
Yeah. I don't really know. I don't really follow them, so no. I don't know. No comments.
But here's the thing. It's like, I've never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I'm not a huge fan of the Jenner Kardashian family, whatever. But I will say kudos to Kim because she's going to school to become a lawyer.
She's already done a lot.
Yeah, she's already partway through school. And it was because she learned of a woman that is in prison for a super long time over marijuana charges.
Oh yes.
And so she told this woman
to jail for weed. Let's just discuss this. No one should be going to jail for weed. Point blank. Period.
Yeah.
Unless like you're growing it and lacing it with things that's killing people.
Unless you're if you're anything illegal, of course, but weed, just straight the plant, you're good.
Can we just legalize it even for just medical use everywhere, please?
Dude, I'm waiting. Like we're not moving to Texas because I'm literally will not move until they legalize weed. I'm like, I can't live in a state where weed's not legalized.
Alcohol is doing worse to people's bodies than weed is. Chill.
Dude, on a side note, a personal journey through COVID, I haven't drank at all and I've just smoked and I feel like a new person. Just saying. Hangovers are not worth it.
Yeah, I haven't drank since the last convention. What's that? What's drinking?
Dude, the next convention we go to is going to be a shit show. Everyone's
going to be hammered.
Everyone's throwing up, crying. It's going to be a mess.
So there's other couple things that were, like so-and-so is dating so-and-so and they're not a big thing. But since we have about 15 minutes left, let's quickly go through our last couple questions that I had for us, because we talked about it briefly, but I'm very interested in knowing these questions. What was your biggest struggle with quarantine? Did it affect your work life? We kind of talked about that. Home life. Let's just kind of we'll start with our guest and go in orders. So what was the biggest struggle with quarantine?
I feel like the biggest struggle was I think swallowing the pill that like my entire all my money I wasn't gonna make this year. Like touring is my like, my saving grace for money, and that's where we make most of our money. So to like have to sit and be like, how are we gonna plan this year out, right? Like we're not touring one time. So what are we gonna do? Like thankfully I've had streaming. Of course I've always streamed for like 5 years now, but like it's just kind of like I think getting to a new habit, getting to a new ritual, like understand there's no shows anymore. Like every day, like also at this point, my boyfriend and I weren't living together yet. And he just literally was like, my mom was like, everyone's gonna die. You have to live together. I want you, if you don't live with Cheney, I'm gonna freak out and think she's gonna die or something. So I had a 400 square foot studio apartment. So we moved in during the first quarantine and we had 2 cats and we were looking at each other like, how are we gonna like not like go crazy,
oh, yeah.
right? Like
you moved during quarantine, didn't you?
We had to move because we got beef, and then it was beef, 2 cats, and Hayden in a 500 square foot apartment with no doors. So we were like, we're going nuts. Like I couldn't stream the same time he was working, and then I couldn't sleep at the same time. It was just like a shit show. So we were like, the struggle of just like kind of getting into like a normal routine when we were always on the road. That was pretty much the biggest struggle. Like, cause like we were just so used to just not being home. So like being home, we were just like, how do we get into the cooking, like normal, like couple type things? And like I say in this question, I think it also has really made us an amazing couple. Like it's really made us closer, made our family closer. Beef, it's made me really appreciate myself. And like, we've never had time off. I've never had a minute. And now I've been able to focus on my mental health. I've been able to stream more. I've been able to do the things I don't want to do, journal, color. I've been able to like do these things for like my mental, which I think has been really important to like slow down. So yeah. I'm grateful. I
think so. Since you hit that other question, what was something you gained or learned from for such a hard year? That obviously
that I come first, that I feel like I need to be able to take breaks. I feel like I was going way too fast. I was going way too hard, and I was just touring 24/7, and I wasn't really thinking about my mental health or like my physical health or anything. I was just so focused on just like, you're on the road, you can't even think. It's like at a con, it's like that with me 24/7.
Yeah.
So I think like now I really want to take space, and like when touring does come back, I want to tour, but I don't want to do it nearly the amount I was doing it before, because now I've realized how important my relationship is, my family is, my animals, like my mental, the gaming, like there's so many other things that I want to focus on. I don't want to like overwork myself to the point where I'm going crazy like I was before.
Sam, what about you? What was your biggest struggle, and what did you gain or learn from this?
I mean, I could probably touch a lot on what Cray said as well. Mine was mostly, my biggest struggle was the not traveling aspect of conventions, because that's where I meet a lot of my business opportunities. That's where I do more of my hosting. That's where you network. Like in-person networking just works so much better for me personally than it has online. And I've had to shift that to where I need to network more online. But that also led to my terrible mental health. Cray, I'm currently on antidepressants, and it was the best shift that I did to do that for myself, because I'm an extreme extrovert. I have 0 introversion in me, and not being around people to refill my cup constantly, I was running on an empty glass the past year. And so it taught me the same, to start taking care of me, be a little more selfish, and not stretch myself too thin. So I've learned a lot of that, a lot of self-love, because you're in your head more often than you have been ever before. You have so much time.
So much time.
Yeah, and you know what?
To focus on it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been my bad and good. So it's been an interesting journey.
I'd say it's a roller coaster. There's ups and downs. The ups and downs, instead of doing this, which is usually what I am, it was like,
oh yeah,
the ups and downs were very obvious. Do you know what I mean? The hard days were very hard. The easy days were very easy. And I
think for me, the hardest part was I developed anxiety.
Yeah.
This year. And I've always had like social anxiety. Like TBH Cray at the 100 Thieves party when you grabbed me and you were like, let's go hang out. And I was like, I have to talk to people.
Yeah.
But for me, it's weird to have anxiety inside the four walls of my home.
Yeah.
It's always been my sanctuary, and I'm very much an introvert. And I even have you can't see it, but it says introvert right here on my shirt. So it was hard for me to have that anxiety that I usually would be able to have a relief from in my home, be there all the time.
Right.
And also having my son home all the time. And him not being able to play with anybody. I became his only playmate other than grandma a couple times a week. And it was very stressful for me to see his light kind of dwindle a little bit. You ask him now, he's going back to school soon. But you ask him now and he's like, I'm so excited. I'm like, what's the first thing you're going to do? And he said, I'm going to stand away from my friends and wave at them so I don't get the virus. But then I'm excited to see them and just talk to them and play toys. And I was like, okay, are you going to learn? He's like, yeah, I'm so excited to listen to the teachers. And I'm like, now you're just like pandering me and saying what you want me to say. But it just, that was the hardest part for me.
I couldn't imagine.
Honestly, I don't know if I have a thing that I gained.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
I don't think I have. I mean, I have less time than I did before. I don't get to fill up my cup when I need to versus, so seeing like friends and stuff like that. I don't feel like there was very many positives of the whole situation. So
it's definitely been really rough.
I'm excited.
The vaccine makes you excited.
Yes. So talking about the vaccine, Sam, we know that you got your first dose.
I got my
and then your second dose is coming up soon, right? In a couple weeks?
Mid-April. Yeah.
Okay. And then, Cheney, have you gotten vaccinated yet?
I'm on my way. The day it's open, I think it's the 15th for LA to open up to anyone under 50.
Yeah.
I'm literally going to be standing in line with like, vaccinate me now, bitch.
Will flash for vaccines. Like, I don't care. I'm the same. So it's April 18th in Nebraska is what they're guessing. But the thing that was the hardest for me is that they took away pre-existing condition qualifications in Nebraska.
I'm mad about it.
And they're doing age only.
Yeah.
So we are currently 50 to 64 right now, is like the main bulk group, and essential workers and stuff like that too. But immunocompromised people are not put up as a priority. And that was like the shining light that I was trying for, because having Lyme disease and having asthma and stuff like that, like it's something that is terrifying for me. We're not even getting vaccinated at the same time when we can, because I will have an effect, especially if I have like the Moderna one, the one that makes you more tired than Pfizer. I will be shut down for multiple days. So Ben has to wait to get vaccinated. And
so then he can take care of everybody.
So he can take care of everybody. And then we plan on doing at least minimum 5 days between us, if not a week. And then
that's
Ben
actually very
go.
smart. That's actually like that you guys thought about that, because my two friends, kind of similar stage that you're in, they both got at the same time and they were both shut down. They had to hire all these people to come help, and like they were like not prepared at all.
Well, and so having a kid too, like we can't do that, right?
Totally.
Like we can't. That can't even be an option for us. So, but I keep hearing of everyone saying like, check this pharmacy at night and check this one. But I don't know if my anxiety can handle sitting there on the phone every single night waiting, and then being told. There's one there, but then there's not. Because like how I was shut down this weekend when 20 minutes before my brother-in-law was vaccinated, but then I wasn't allowed to be. Yeah. And a friend of ours, he walked in after us and he was able to be vaccinated, and his wife was, even though his wife isn't essential worker, but because he is, she just kind of got shoved in there with him. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I could have lied, but I also didn't feel right lying when I knew there were essential workers in line.
Yeah, that's what happened with me. because in California it opened up to pre-existing conditions from 16 to 64, I think it was. And I was in that group. So I woke up at 2 a.m. that morning to try to get an appointment because I was like, no, that's literally half of California that is going to have that option. And I was like, and I need it now because I have been going to LA in studios and I just feel like it'll give me that extra shield of safety. So I feel even more comfortable doing shoots.
Yeah,
so I got it. Thank goodness. But they didn't update the website or email people in my group till 3 days later.
So frustrating.
Yeah, I had anxiety that whole day. I was like, what if they turn me away because their website doesn't say it?
Yeah. Somebody in chat was saying that a lot of tribes are opening it up to the public. I had the opportunity to go through a Native American tribe organization in Omaha to get one as well. But again, it just didn't feel right taking it away. They openly said they didn't have enough people signing up for it, but it just didn't feel right. To, and it may not have been this, it may have just been in my head, but the first thing that I thought is, all right, another white person coming in and taking something away from Native Americans. And so it just didn't sit with me very well. Now, eventually, maybe, it's coming down to it and it's open to everybody. And then, the tribe is like, hey, we still have more available. Then I'll be like, gladly, sure, I will drive practically anywhere I need to go get this done. So, but yeah, that's kind of how we are. Real quick, fast round before we have to go because Sam has to leave to go do something else. Cheney, when everything is safe, what is the first thing you're going to go do?
I don't do many things. Run around naked. I have no idea.
Sam, what's the first thing that you want to go do?
An escape room.
Yeah,
fun.
Good.
I want to go
to a restaurant.
Yes, I want to go to a bar.
I just want to go
theater as well.
Yes, I just want to meet up with 2 or 3 friends and go have a meal.
Yes.
The end.
The end.
We did it. It's a crazy year. It's almost over with. It's so almost over with. It's never going to be completely over with. But the light at the end of the tunnel is so bright now that it feels like by 4th of July, we're going to be able to hang out responsibly.
Yeah.
And that sounds so exciting. Oh, so exciting. Jenny, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
You're up here. You're up here.
Awesome.
Thank you for hanging out with us. We love you so much. If you guys do the guest command, !guest in chat, you'll be able to follow all of her social media. If you guys can go through there, you can find Beef and Shoe and stuff like that because they're cool too, and you should follow there. So, okay, everybody, have a great day. Where's my OBS? Okay, bye.
Bye.